As she stepped into the gym, laughter echoed off the walls. The moment Sarah walked in wearing a simple navy tracksuit, the atmosphere shifted. Initially, the onlookers viewed her as an outsider, someone who had mistakenly wandered into the wrong place. She looked like a mother who had just come to pick up her child from a sports practice, blending in with the crowd of grapplers who were intensely focused on their training. Her outfit was unadorned, just a clean, practical choice without any flashy logos. Beneath her tracksuit, a plain white t-shirt peeked out. It was a Tuesday evening at the local Grappling Academy in Kansas City, the air thick with the smell of sweat and disinfectant. The mats were warm and the overhead fans buzzed loudly amidst the grunts and laughter of people rolling and sparring. Each pair of grapplers fought for their space, their movements a testament to their dedication. As Sarah took a seat on a bench against the wall, her presence barely registered with the others. "Whose mum is that?" a voice whispered from the far side of the room, a comment that reached Sarah's ears, but she remained unfazed. Instead, she calmly unzipped her gym bag, preparing for whatever was to come. The receptionist, an unassuming young man named Jake, approached her, sliding a clipboard across the table without even a glance. "First time here?" he asked, his tone indifferent. "Not exactly," Sarah replied, her voice steady and confident, but Jake didn't press for more information. Across the mat, Coach Mike was guiding a group of blue belts through drills, his commanding presence evident even without words. He glanced at Sarah but chose not to comment, likely assuming she wouldn't last long in this world of grappling. Sarah sat quietly, her demeanor calm as she observed everyone around her, her fingers resting lightly on her knee, breathing steadily as if she were trying to reconnect with something long forgotten. Among the chatter, a guy named Kyle called out, "Hey, looks like the new girl is going to get schooled." Laughter rippled through the room, but Sarah simply focused on the mat, sliding off her shoes and stepping onto the warm surface. With no grand introduction or fanfare, she bowed respectfully to the space, a gesture that seemed to go unnoticed by the others. A young woman named Emily, leaning over to Kyle, whispered, "She looks like she's never done this before." Kyle chuckled. "Yeah, let's hope she can stretch. Otherwise, we might need to call for help." The laughter echoed again, yet Sarah remained unaffected. As the warm-ups commenced, she moved with an unexpected grace and efficiency. Her hip escapes were smooth, and her shrimping technique demonstrated a rhythm that caught the attention of a few onlookers. One of them, a man named Lucas, leaned toward his training partner and murmured, "She's moving better than I do, and I've been here for months." However, Kyle was too preoccupied, boasting about his knee brace and a recent tournament mishap, to notice Sarah's skills. After finishing her warm-up, Sarah sat back down, tying the drawstring on her pants with a sense of familiarity. She was in no rush. Her composure suggested she was there for more than just a casual workout. Unbeknownst to everyone in the room, they had yet to grasp the depth of her experience and the journey that had brought her back to the mat. As the warm-up session progressed, Sarah allowed herself to reflect on her past, a tapestry of memories woven together by determination and resilience. 12 years ago, she found herself standing barefoot on the sun-baked concrete of a gym in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Back then, she was a newly divorced woman at 26, carrying not only the weight of her separation, but also the emotional turmoil of being away from her two sons, who were living with her sister in their hometown. In that open-air gym, with its cracked walls and leaky roof, Sarah sought not just to learn Jiu-Jitsu, but to rediscover herself. The training there was rigorous, beginning before dawn and demanding unwavering dedication. The absence of air conditioning and the sweltering heat were mere background noise to the calls of the instructor, Maestro Carlos, who inspired those around him through his sheer presence. On her third day, after witnessing her role for the first time, Carlos had looked at her and simply said, "You belong here." Those words ignited a flame within her, and she decided to stay longer than she had initially planned. Every day was a new challenge, but Sarah embraced it wholeheartedly. She immersed herself in the fundamentals, her body instinctively adapting to the movements. It was not about seeking greatness, it was about survival. She learned to breathe again through the rhythm of drilling collar chokes and executing takedowns. The camaraderie in that gym, filled with women who had faced their own struggles, taught her that strength was not measured by accolades, but by perseverance. Gradually, Sarah earned her purple belt, a symbol of her hard work and dedication. But when that moment arrived, there were no grand speeches or celebrations, just a nod from Maestro Carlos acknowledging her journey with a quiet respect. As the years passed, life pulled her back to her responsibilities. Her sister suffered a stroke, and her boys needed her. Sarah packed her gear, folded her belt, and placed her jiu-jitsu dreams on hold, tucking them away like cherished memories. Years went by, and she found herself working at a medical billing office, burying herself in the daily grind. However, one evening, after a long shift, she stumbled upon an old video of herself rolling in Brazil. Watching her younger self flow through techniques with grace and confidence reignited something deep within her. It was as if that dormant part of her spirit was whispering, urging her to return to the mat. When her son Ethan walked in and asked, "Is that you?" she simply nodded, a smile creeping across her face. That night, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that she needed to reclaim a piece of her life. She quietly called the local Grappling Academy, inquiring about trial classes. There were no social media posts or public announcements. This journey was for her alone. She was not there to prove anything to anyone, but to rediscover the passion that had once burned so brightly in her heart. As the session continued, Sarah found herself immersed in the world of grappling once again, the familiar sights and sounds enveloping her like a warm embrace. The energy in the gym was palpable, with athletes laughing, grunting, and competing fiercely against one another. While some practiced their techniques with precision, others engaged in light-hearted banter, creating an atmosphere charged with excitement and camaraderie. However, Sarah remained focused, her mind set on the task ahead. When the warm-up routines concluded, Coach Mike gathered the class and began to pair everyone up for drills. Sarah's heart raced with anticipation. She could feel the curious eyes of her fellow grapplers lingering on her, some with skepticism while others seemed intrigued. Amid the chatter, Kyle, a cocky brown belt known for his brash remarks, noticed the attention she was drawing. "Looks like the new girl is about to get schooled," he laughed, his voice carrying across the mat. The room erupted in laughter, but Sarah remained unfazed, her resolve unwavering. As the pairs formed, she was assigned to work with a timid teenager named Max, who seemed nervous and unsure of himself. "Do you want to lead?" he asked, shifting from foot to foot, clearly hesitant. Sarah smiled gently and replied, "You go first." With each drill, she guided him patiently, demonstrating techniques with an ease and clarity that surprised even herself. Max quickly realized that Sarah was not just any newcomer. She possessed a depth of understanding that surpassed her unassuming appearance. Meanwhile, Kyle was rolling with a blue belt named Sam, boasting loudly about his recent tournament exploits while trying to show off. He completely missed the subtle exchanges happening around him as Sarah continued to help Max refine his movements. "Just focus on anchoring your elbow tighter and twisting your hips," she instructed, her tone calm and encouraging. Max's confidence began to grow, and he responded positively to her coaching, feeling more comfortable with each passing moment. As they continued through the drills, Coach Mike watched closely, his eyebrows raised in curiosity. He approached Sarah and asked, "You said you were new to this gym, right?" She nodded, feeling a mix of pride and humility. "Where did you train before?" he inquired, a hint of intrigue in his voice. Sarah shrugged lightly, not wanting to divulge too much. "Different places," she replied, keeping her past experiences close to her chest. However, Kyle, overhearing their conversation, couldn't help but chime in, "She's hiding something, bet she's just played around in some cardio class." His words were met with a few chuckles, but Sarah ignored the jabs, focusing instead on the task at hand. She wasn't there to impress anyone, she was there to reconnect with her passion. As the session transitioned to sparring, the energy shifted in the room. Pairs began to roll freely, and Kyle, ever the opportunist, called out to Sarah, "Hey, you want to roll with me?" All eyes turned to her, anticipation crackling in the air. With a calm demeanor, Sarah stood up, brushing off any doubts. "Sure," she replied, walking over to the center of the mat. As Sarah stepped onto the mat, the tension in the gym was palpable. The atmosphere shifted as the other grapplers sensed the impending match between her and Kyle. He was known for his brash demeanor and self-assuredness, and Sarah could feel the weight of the room's expectations resting on her shoulders. Kyle bounced on his feet, a confident grin plastered across his face as he prepared to showcase his skills against the newcomer. "Let's see what you've got, new girl," he called out, his voice dripping with mockery. The onlookers chuckled, their eyes gleaming with anticipation as they prepared for what they expected would be an easy victory for Kyle. Sarah, however, remained unfazed, her breathing steady and her focus sharp. She had been in this position before, and she knew how to handle the pressure. As they slapped hands to signal the start of the match, time seemed to slow. The gym fell silent, all eyes fixed on the pair. With a calm resolve, Sarah initiated the roll, moving fluidly as she pulled guard, catching Kyle off balance. His confident smirk faltered as he struggled to regain control. In that split second, Sarah's instincts kicked in, and she executed a perfect triangle choke, her movements precise and deliberate. The transition was swift. She locked her legs around Kyle's neck, tightening the grip with a focus that surprised even her. As he thrashed beneath her, the realization dawned on him that this was not just a fluke. He tapped the mat 3 times, a clear signal of surrender. In a mere 14 seconds, the match was over, and the gym erupted into stunned silence. Sarah released the hold immediately, her expression calm and composed. She sat back on her heels, legs crossed, and nodded once, not to Kyle, but as a quiet acknowledgement of the moment. The shock rippled through the room. It was evident that no one had expected this outcome. Kyle lay on the mat, blinking up at the ceiling in disbelief, while murmurs of astonishment filled the air. Coach Mike, who had been observing closely, finally broke the silence. "That wasn't luck," he remarked, his voice low but authoritative. The respect in his tone was unmistakable, and even Kyle, still recovering from the embarrassment, remained silent, his bravado deflated. As the murmurs of admiration grew, Sarah stood up slowly, wiping her brow and picking up her towel. She didn't seek applause or validation. She simply returned to the sidelines, her demeanor unchanged. The tension that had once filled the gym transformed into a newfound respect for her abilities. "Wow, that was one of the cleanest triangles I've ever seen in real life," whispered Rico from the back of the room, echoing the sentiments of several others who had witnessed the surprising turn of events. Even Coach Mike nodded in approval, acknowledging that skill often transcends appearances and assumptions. The atmosphere had shifted dramatically. No longer was Sarah the outsider. She had earned her place among them, not through words, but through action. After the unexpected victory over Kyle, the dynamic in the gym underwent a profound transformation. No longer was Sarah just the newcomer. She had proven herself in a matter of seconds and earned the respect of her peers. As the sparring session continued, the previous skepticism surrounding her presence faded away. The atmosphere shifted from one of mockery to genuine curiosity and admiration. Coach Mike approached Sarah, his expression softened with newfound respect. "You've been around the mat before, haven't you?" he asked, a hint of admiration in his voice. Sarah nodded, feeling a wave of humility wash over her. "I trained in Brazil for several years. she replied, her tone steady but modest. Just wanted to come back and enjoy the sport again. The revelation caused a ripple through the group. Whispers spread like wildfire, each grappler processing the information and reassessing their perceptions of Sarah. Even Kyle, who had previously been so vocal, sat quietly along the wall, his confidence shaken. Becca, another student, watched Sarah with a mixture of awe and respect. "Can she teach a class?" she asked, breaking the tension with a hopeful smile. Laughter erupted, but this time it was light-hearted, an acknowledgement of Sarah's skills rather than mockery. Coach Mike smiled, recognizing the shift in the room. "We'll definitely talk about that," he said, his tone suggesting that he was considering elevating Sarah's role within the team. As the session wrapped up, several students approached her, offering nods and polite smiles. It was clear that their initial assumptions had been overturned. They now saw Sarah not just as a participant, but as a valuable addition to their community. Lucas, one of the more serious practitioners, approached her with a shy grin. "Sorry for the jokes earlier. You really surprised us all," he admitted, rubbing the back of his neck. "You've got some serious skills." Sarah smiled back, appreciating the sincerity of his words. "Thanks, just love the sport," she replied, feeling a sense of belonging she hadn't anticipated. As the gym began to empty, Sarah took a moment to reflect on the day's events. She had come seeking a way back to something she loved, and in doing so, she had inadvertently become a source of inspiration for others. The respect she received was not just for her skills on the mat, but for her quiet strength and perseverance. Finally, as she gathered her things, she noticed Kyle lingering by the wall, looking uncertain. She could sense his discomfort, and instead of walking past him, she paused. "Hey, it's all good. We all have to start somewhere," she said, her voice warm and understanding. He looked up, surprised by her kindness, and managed a small smile. "Yeah, I guess I underestimated you," he admitted. With that simple exchange, Sarah felt a deeper connection to the gym and its community. She wasn't just there for herself anymore. She was part of a larger narrative, one where respect was earned through action and humility. As the training session came to an end, the atmosphere in the gym was notably different. Sarah stood slightly apart from the group, her towel draped over her shoulder, absorbing the respect and camaraderie that had blossomed around her. It was a quiet realization for her. She hadn't just returned to the mat for herself, but also to create a space for others who might feel like outsiders. The connections she had forged in just one day felt significant, and she was eager to explore what lay ahead. After the class, Coach Mike gathered everyone near the edge of the mat, his usual authoritative demeanor softened by a sense of appreciation. "Many of you have been with us for a long time," he began, looking around at the familiar faces. "You know I believe in proving yourself through hard work, not just by what you wear on your belt." His gaze shifted to Sarah and the room fell silent, attentive. "But tonight, you all witnessed that skill doesn't always come with a stripe. Sarah has been training for years, and she's here not just to showcase her abilities, but to share her passion with us." A ripple of respect traveled through the group as they processed Coach's words. Kyle, who had been silent since his defeat, nodded slowly, the weight of his earlier arrogance replaced by humility. The atmosphere had shifted from one of competition to one of mutual respect, and Sarah felt a warmth spread through her as she absorbed the moment. As everyone began to pack up, Emily approached Sarah with a bright smile. "Can you show us some techniques next week?" she asked, her enthusiasm infectious. "I'd love to learn from you." The request felt like a significant step forward, not just for Sarah, but for the entire group, as they recognized the value of sharing knowledge and experiences.
"Of course, I'd be happy to help," Sarah replied, her heart swelling with gratitude. She realized that she had a chance to give back to the community that was beginning to feel like home. It was a beautiful moment of connection, and she was eager to contribute in any way she could. As she walked to her car, the setting sun cast a warm glow around her. Sarah felt a deep sense of peace and fulfillment. Her phone buzzed with a message from Ethan asking if she would be home for dinner. She smiled, typing back, "On my way." The drive home felt different. She was no longer just a mother returning from an ordinary day.
She was a woman reclaiming her passion, ready to weave her love for Jiu-Jitsu back into her life. Later that evening, as she prepared a simple dinner, memories of her training in Brazil flooded her mind. She thought of Maestro Carlos, who had taught her that strength comes from within and that true power doesn't need to be shouted. Her journey had come full circle, and she felt grateful for the opportunity to inspire others while continuing to grow herself. Before going to bed, Sarah pulled out the old shoebox from under her bed, revealing her long, forgotten black belt. She held it in her hands, feeling the fabric and memories it contained. While she wasn't ready to wear it yet, she was ready to stop hiding from it.